So my number one pro tip when it comes to budgeting, right, is that I only go to grocery shopping super late at night and after when I'm very, very full.
I never thought of it that way.
I only go late at night where I'm super tired. So once you're super tired, right, you just want to finish your list and get the essentials and then you go.
I like that.
Then you don't want to spend extra money. Hey.
Welcome back to the Financial Coconut Podcast. Today, we are bringing back the special series of TFC Budget Royale. Right, very popular. I don't know. Do you see the online? And the numbers look great. And so we decided to bring a new bunch of people in to compete. Before we start, Andy was saying, hey, you cheat, you compete twice, right? So actually, it's quite hard, Think about it. I got to do another round. I got to bring in new ideas.
But at least you know the questions.
And for this round, we will kind of stick to the usual questions, and as we go along we'll see, right? If you are a prize sponsor, you want to sponsor us so that it's a bit more high stakes, then that will be the next round. But yes, I'm your host Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut, and you want to introduce yourself before we begin?
Yeah, my name is Dave. I'm actually the author of Minimalist in the City, and I'm also a financial coach. So actually my blog talks about minimalism, personal finance, and financial independence.
So you better win, huh? You're the financial coach.
Yeah. But it's all the old boring way. It might be the old boring way, yeah.
No, you're here to win, you're here to fight, yeah. And then we go one round. Yeah, what about yourself?
My name is Daron. So I've been in real estate for about coming to 10 years now. So I'm the founder of the team Property Partners. So we have about 20 agents on board now.
Tampines. They all believe in Tampines.
Different areas, other areas as well.
But yeah, you gotta win. If not, your agents will question you.
I'll do my best.
You gotta win, right? And yes, Andy, yourself.
Yeah, my name is Andy Schmidt, originally from Germany, but have been living in Singapore since 97. So I'm a solopreneur and I'm known in the market as the beekeeper.
What is the beekeeper?
The beekeeper is an internal communication platform, an app that I'm doing business development for here in Singapore to bring it to companies, which helps them to close the communication gap that they might have with their frontliners.
Yeah. But you also ran a website previously.
I think it's 12 years ago, I started a blog, which is called Taco Mob, taking care of my own business. So I started it right after I retired from my corporate duties back in 2012 at the age of 44.
Today, this episode is about Budget Royale, right? So we're here to compete. Okay, bring out your spirit. First round, we're gonna go with daily expenses. So of course, I try to frame the category a bit wider so you can actually go wherever you are, to think of how do you manage this daily expense? What is your number one budget tip, when thinking of these categories, right? So rules apply. Whoever starts first get advantage, of course, because you don't sound like you copy another person. Right? And then after that, we will do a round of voting. So depending on who thinks you're the number one winner. And next time we should live stream. Right? So I think that will be quite fun. Okay, so in the essence of daily expenses, anybody has number one budget tip that you want to share?
Well, I go first. I think it's important to know your enough. I think a lot of us, we go through life and we don't even spot our enough when we see it. But the reality is if our expectations and our spending are exceeding our money, we will never be happy. We will never achieve content. And the challenge I see here in Singapore is that the consumer machinery around you is sucking you into all kind of expenses. So it's really, really important to know what is our own enough and understand what matters to us. What are the priorities in our life? But there's a good news because all of us, all that we are sitting here, we already have enough. We are all rich, right? Unless we buy something.
So how do you then find out what is enough for you? I mean, you've definitely gone through a process, right?
Yeah. The process is really, you have to define your own goalposts. Then once you reach them, not be tempted to always shift the goalposts, but be happy and content with what you have. And I think a very important step in getting there, I'm sure the others will also mention that one, is to know the difference between your wants and your needs. So one trick that I did with my kids, for example, when they wanted to have a new phone, I always said, imagine yourself next Monday. So how do you feel next Monday having that item? Does it make a difference to your happiness, to your level of content? If not, then don't buy. And don't buy anything on impulse. If you have a bigger investment, always sleep over it at least 24, 48 hours and then go back and buy it.
Okay. So that's a tip. right? Don't buy on impulse. And if you have a bigger investment, sleep on it, right? And then 24 hours, 48 hours later, then we'll see what it is, right? So
and think about it, how you feel next Monday about having purchased that item.
Okay.
Just imagine yourself into the future.
Yeah. Fair. And that is an exercise. You do need to practice a little bit on that front, right? Yeah. I always have buyer remorse. You know? so that's a different discussion. Okay. I cannot say that I'm the financial coconut, right? So how can I have buyer remorse? Right? So that is Andy's tip. You know, who else? Who's next?
So my number one pro tip when it comes to budgeting, right, is that I only go to grocery shopping super late at night and after when I'm very, very full. So like a Tampines Hub, a big one, 24 hours, that's always the best. Reason why? Because after 12 midnight, usually queue is shorter, which means you won't buy things on impulse. Because when the queue is longer, right, queue so long, might as well just take a few more things, right? Because since you...
I never thought of it that way.
That's how popular bookstore gets you as well. When it's a long queue, there's the aisle, they put all the sweets and the snacks. That's how they get you at the end. Just one more packet of sweets, one more stuff, one more item. So you spend a bit more. So same with like grocery shopping as well. Once you walk in, you see the queue first. The queue is so long. I must well do 2 weeks of shopping. Then I'll just overbuy things that end up will get expired and I throw away. I waste more money. So I only go late at night where I'm super tired. So once you're super tired, right, you just want to finish your list and get the essentials and then you go.
I like that.
Then you don't want to spend extra money.
So you will manage the shopping experience.
Also very full as well. When you're very full, the last thing you will think about is food. Okay, because I know myself, right? My greatest weakness is Pringles sour cream, Lay's the cheese one.
Margin very high one. That one,
Yeah,
the
Kinder Bueno with the biscuit, the circle one. Wow, amazing. But if I go in very full, then I won't grab so many of these items. Because probably the last thing I'll think about is food. So even the discounted sushi at 12 midnight don't look good already lah. So I don't take. Then generally you spend lesser, you waste lesser. Yeah, better for the health also.
Nice. I think that's a great point. It kind of plays into the whole like how retailers do all sorts of small little things on the other end to get you to spend, and then you run a counter strategy against that. That's quite thought through. Very good. Yes. What about you?
Actually, I kind of like document my expenses in my blog before. So how I kind of like in Andy's way, the wants and the needs and the wants. That
Cannot
kind of
copy
thing.
his point. You want to win your
No.
No, but he's tracking it in a spreadsheet. That's the next level already.
That's a great start.
It's a spreadsheet. Yeah. So it's just to kind of like gauge how is my family expenses. During then, my kids were still rather young. So I was trying to track the expenses. So like where most of the money goes to. But actually, most of the money goes to the childcare. The rest, I think, is quite negligible. Correct. So when you look at the spreadsheet, right, you will see, which one should I cut, that kind of thing. I'm still kind of like monitoring, but I'm not publishing the numbers anymore. I publish it for 3 or 4 years in my blog. So I realized sometimes like we are trying to save the small bits of money, that kind of thing, here and there. But then actually we also need to think about time value of money. Sometimes we need to queue up to buy this food. Actually, there's a time to it. So you go to the supermarket, you see Tuesday, Wednesday, got this sale, then you just buy this one, just load out on this, buy in bulk. Those were the days that I did that.
Penny pinching.
Yeah, penny pinching. Which is normal. But then nowadays, I think the cheat code is kind of like go JB.
But again, the time comes in. How much time do you spend traveling there?
But then you kind of like can mitigate it.
It becomes a day trip, right?
Yeah, it becomes a day trip.
So you get your massage as well and the car repaired.
Car repair, car wash. My wife get her hair done. Everything in one, as well as the petrol.
Okay, so your daily expense tip is of course trekking and then going to JB.
Yeah.
What wisdom, right? What wisdom? Going to JB. Everyone also know, right? But
probably you can forget about the trekking part if you go JB.
You're gonna lose this. You're gonna lose this round. But it's okay. We're safe for the travel one. Okay, so my tip, right? Although today is not sponsored, I actually struggled whether I want to use this point. Okay, but because it's, when you plug products, right, you hope that the sponsor will sponsor, right? But anyway, I actually used the trust card.
Trust card.
Trust card. Okay.
So you trust it?
As of now, yes, up to this point, right? So it kind of works. Yeah, and a big part, actually, some of the other guys were the ones that tell me, hey, you should use the trust card because you travel the most. The truth is, I don't stay in Singapore, right? So I spend a lot of time in KL and I shuttle in and out. And then in between, sometimes I don't even go back to KL, I go to other places, right? So I'm always on the move. So actually, I'm a very big beneficiary of this FX, of this like free FX, no charge, really no charge. And I know the other banks are catching up. They're trying to structure their product to fit this strategy. Of course, the all the miles, all this, it does not work. This card has no miles game. But the FX savings is quite serious, right? And because I'm always on the go, I think there's a lot to it. And it's so easy. It integrates with everything, So I think that's quite helpful. So that is my number one tip. Okay, so then like that, right? We are going to voting. We'll point each other. So in 3, 2, 1, we decide who is the winner of round 1. Okay, so
Sharpen your fingers.
yeah. So in 3, 2, 1. Dun. Yeah, I think that's. I really think that's a good
Very
tip.
practical.
Very practical.
Doable.
Right. Because I mean, I've been at this for years. So you're the first one that I hear this tip from. right. So because everybody tell me, use this product, try that, do this, do that, which are valid. Right, but the baseline, you solved it at the baseline where the enterprise want to make money from you. Then you have a strategy. So I counter you. so I thought that was quite good. So so that is for round 1. You must bring up the round 2, right? Give me a little bit more in round 2. So round 2 is a little bit more serious, right? Because we're talking about like investment, and I think I want to open up this category a little bit more. So it's not just about investing in the stock market, right? Like Andy as a business, or even investing in your career. I think investing as an idea can be broader. It's really about allocating resources. It's really about allocating capital and time and effort into doing something and doing it well. From there, you reap the rewards. I think that's the general idea of investing, right? So with that as the backdrop, give us your number 1 tip for our listeners, right? A middle upper class working professional, right? They want a tip from you, when it comes to investing, right? So whoever wants to start, yeah.
Because I've been investing for, I think, over 20 years. After I have kids, I tend to view resources a bit different. So I kind of like think of time is also a resource.
Okay.
Yeah. So I read about this book, Die with Zero. I believe you guys read about it. So they talk about this thing called time bucketing. So how much time are you going to invest in your kids' life when they were young? And you still have enough energy to do it. And that's the reason why I quit my corporate job at the age of 40. Now I'm doing it self-employed. Because I was thinking about this factor of time bucketing, which is, I think, is a very important concept. Because most Asian culture, we kind of like, we want to invest, we want to compound our money as much as possible. And then at the age of 50, 60, then you retire, then you enjoy. Of course, for me to quit a full-time job in the banking is a very big trade-off, basically. During my younger days, I kind of like built up some wealth. That allows me to have time to kind of like spend it with my kids. Because the time that investing in their life, I don't think I can get it back. And I think of it as a very important investment part of my life. Nobody thought of like time. But that time, I think is very important. Like in your 20s, 30s, probably you can do bungee jump, you can do paragliding, all this stuff. But then at the age of 40 now, right, I seriously don't have the courage. And there's too much at stake already. So I think in terms of investment of time, I think you need to time bucket, like 40 to 50s your bucket list. 50 to 60 will be another bucket list. But as I try to list down the bucket list, right, as time goes by, right, the bucket list get lesser and lesser. Because you get older, your health might not be there, or you might not even live until then.
No, but that is objectively accurate, right? Because as you move along,
but nobody do like you do like time bucketing across your lifetime, right? But you never do like 20 to 30s, 30 to 40, 40 to 50s, that kind of time bucketing, which I think is quite amazing. I try to go through the exercise, then I wrote down everything, then the list gets smaller and smaller along the way. Until you, actually most of the thing you can do it now already. You can do it now, you just do it now. When you have the health, you have the energy to do it. So I would think that to me, time investment is important at this point of my life.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. I like the philosophical level. Anyone else?
So all the last 10 years, I've been just working hard real estate, amassing all this capital. But as an entrepreneur or self-employed, right, we have no CPF. So that's the one downside now. But the good thing is that generally you should have more cash than the average person, which is also dangerous on hindsight, because that means you can just spend the money, because the money comes in, suddenly you see so much money in the bank account, right? It's very dangerous. Then suddenly that new car is very tempting, that new holiday, like everything just becomes more tempting. So to me, like practical one is out of sight, out of mind. So like my commission account for whatever real estate thing is in an account that I don't even have the ATM card to. It's my OCBC account. Now bank transfer very easy, but I tend to like make it complicated so that money just stays down there. So I only can look at my expenditure account, my DBS account. Then I'll never ever feel good.
I don't know how my OCBC friends will think about this. Put the hand, it's very old school.
No. As in OCBC is the app is amazing and everything, but just that for company purpose, it's easier to transfer to OCBC. So the company pays to my OCBC account.
And then what do you do with that account?
So the account, of course, right now when I see larger sums inside, right? So that's why over the last 1 to 2 years, I've been embarking on this investment journey to start to like move funds away to something more higher earning interest or better dividends or something else. Yeah, like, of course, as a start, generally, like you, as a novice person, you probably start with the robo-investor kind, right?
Yeah.
Right, but pretty good. Actually, wow, pretty positive, like up 10% kind. But once you go and see in the details, right, wow, $8 dividends you earn, but $7 management fee. Then you'll be like, okay, I think
You're
like
still
it's-
$1 up.
Still $1 up, still $1 up. Yeah, correct, still $1 up.
Look on the bright side, yeah.
Still very positive. So I think that one is just to get my feet wet. Okay, but the biggest like probably mindset shift, right, when it comes to investing for me is that I always believe that every hero starts from a zero. Because if you talk about real estate terms, right, the company deems me as top 1%, my agents all look up to me, you know, they learn from me and stuff. So that ego in the real estate, right, if I bring it over to investing and say like, I'm very, very good, then I'm doomed to fail already. So I treat myself really like a zero in investing. Have to be really very humble to just know that you don't know anything and also copy shamelessly. I always feel that you don't really have to reinvent the wheel. So like today I met you guys, like wow, if I know we're hopping on your blog soon and everything else, like it's just to really like copy shamelessly because you guys are successful for a reason and there's no need to like reinvent. I just have to really follow because the path to success is really like laid out already.
Fair. But I'm not sure you're gonna win this category. I got a better tip.
That's good.
I'm not sure you're gonna win, but okay, that's a fair point. I let you fly. Andy.
So then I would say investment tip is read, because I don't know any successful investor or wealthy person or wise person who doesn't read ferociously. And there's one super important investment book. So that's the most powerful one, the most impactful book, and it's called Shut Up and Wait. And it only has one page, and the one page shows you a long-term economic graph of the growth in the world. And I think that's enough as a novice, as you said, to understand the potential of investing. Just stay invested and shut up. And that means shut up your mind as well, because your mind always wants to do funny things. You see a lot of financial bullshit out there where people try to lure you into some high-yielding investment vehicles, very complicated that they hardly understand themselves to explain it. I think the way forward is just stay invested in the market and stay patient.
Yeah, fair. And there is a marketing cycle in finance also. A lot of people think finance people very smart, blah, blah, but actually it's no different from creating products and selling it to the people and then doing campaigns to get people into the next cycle, right? When you're first starting out, you don't really have a lot of money. You may not be lured by it, right? But eventually you get to a space where you kind of have more money than you could make, you know, on your own. Then you'll be like, well, maybe I should do this other thing. Then all these marketing campaigns start to speak to you. It's like, oh yeah, this looks like it can work, you know, but let us not confuse, you know, things that have been proven and things that are new and exciting out there, right? So there is a fundamental difference in that.
To control our greed and envy that is always happening there. And I think one important thing also to understand is that the only one who should be interested in managing your money should be yourself. Because the other people are just interested in your money, but they're not really interested in you and growing your money.
That's accurate.
So I think we cannot outsource this. We have to educate ourselves and do it, but it's less complicated than many people make it to believe.
Yeah, fair. But I just want to add on that, right? You can eventually outsource it if you understand who to outsource to or what to outsource to, right? Because I think at some point in time, everybody will start to realize that you have to cede some elements of life to other people because you just have too many things that you're on. But if you have never go through that learning cycle and evaluating things at a certain level, you cannot then choose who is actually good to work with or what is actually good to use. So then you frantically start to search on Google. It's like, what is the best thing to buy? And that's the last thing you should do. You definitely fall into some marketing trap, right? So that is a big thing to think about, right? Good. Okay, so my tip is good lah. Okay, so because I've been at it, right? So a lot of what is being discussed, whether what Andy says, staying invested, broadly diversified, low cost, all those things everybody already know, right? Well and good. I'm not challenging those things. But this tip actually came from a friend I was talking to recently, and he just escaped his corporate life, pretty much. So I did an episode with him, Wyson. So I think the ex-OCBC CMO for retail marketing or something like that, right? So you can go check out the episode. And he said that after he left the corporate grind, he sat down and re-evaluated his career growth in terms of income. And he realized that he back-tested the numbers and it was a 300% year-on-year growth, from an income growth perspective. And I asked him, what's your base? I said, oh yeah, long time ago, I started with $500. so that kind of, you can go and calculate for yourself where he is. And I wanted to bring this up because I think as finance content start to float around, right, everybody look at investing as a way out. Everybody looks at investing as the thing that you must learn, the thing you must spend your mind share, your bandwidth on, not realizing that maybe harnessing that mind share and bandwidth on your career can get you that return upside, because it's all just about growth, right? So why scream and save, for like 30% or 50% of your income and let it grow at 5% year on year, 6% year on year, when you can look at, let's grow this income at 20, 30% year on year. So I think that's the part that it's conveniently out of the evaluation model. And I think Keith, right, from Investment Modes, he wrote a great article around this. He said that too many people spend too much time on focusing on investing, when actually their capital is too small. You're not going to get that outsized impact, and if you can actually grow your career, actually that upswing is much more. So you're investing in the right thing, right? The right vehicle, maybe just career growth, and kind of get that income upside. But of course, I'm not a testament against this because I've never done a corporate grind. Andy, you want to say something about it?
Well, I think in the younger years, there's no excuse. You have to hustle. You have to get up to better income. But if you look at it, maybe your income can grow tenfold from your junior years to your senior years before you retire. But your investment multiply 100 times, 1,000 times. So I always say when you are young, do both. Concentrate on your career, but immediately start also an investment portfolio where ideally you automate it. So your paycheck comes in and immediately a chunk is getting invested in some broad-based index funds, for example. And you just do that and forget. And then the magic of compounding will work its magic. And the challenge, I guess, that we have as human beings, our mind is always thinking linearly. But the magic of compounding is an exponential function, right? It's very difficult to comprehend what can happen out of $1,000 invested at the age of 20. And a lot of people, they always say, investing, I can do it later. But when you only start at 30, 35, you can hardly catch up this missing 10, 15 years of compounding because you don't have this huge asset anymore, time. You have a shorter runway, right, when you're a little bit older. So I emphasize you have to do both. Of course, you have to increase your earning, but at the same time, make it a habit that a certain percentage of your salary always goes into investments.
I love this part on the automating the finances part. There's this book by Ramit Sethi, I Will Teach You to Be Rich.
Yes,
super good practical advice. I love this kind of like practical tips,
I
right?
like practical things,
like the moment your salary comes in, then straight away, like, how many percent goes to your bills, which you need to settle, how many percent goes to your investment. Then the rest is you can even allocate to like your holiday fund and stuff because you still need to enjoy and live your rich life, right? But then the rest can be like your expenses and stuff. So to me, like out of sight, out of mind. Because once the money just goes to the investment and then goes to your bills and stuff, right? Then you spend within your means. You're forced to do that because you can't even touch the rest of the money. So I thought that point was really brilliant.
Okay, fair. I hear you, and I want to refine the point. It is not a dichotomy, right? It's not saying that, just focus on your career, don't do investment. But I think it's just managing the idea and managing the bandwidth that you have, right? That it may be a wiser thing to think about, spending a little more bandwidth on the career first, before looking at like massively growing your investments. And over time, you learn new things and then you can adjust your investment methodology. So I think that's that. Okay, good. So category number 2, right? I think you sure lose on this one. Yeah, I got a good sense of who I'm voting for. Okay, so we're gonna vote with the finger, right? So in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Andy is a winner.
No tie.
Yes, I know. time-tested ideas, right?
Time tested,
right? So
and I like this idea of compounding. I think I've been like
I think everybody likes this idea.
yeah,
So
but then it's
compounding works both ways. It
it's
can
a
compound
very-
downwards.
yeah, but it's
Your mortgage is the opposite, eh?
oh yeah.
Don't go for a 30-year
So
mortgage.
it's just sharing my experience lah. Like 20 years of investing, right? First 10 years of compounding, you don't really see a lot. It's only accelerate probably during the 12 year or 15 years. Then you can really see the acceleration of the compounding. So I think one important point about just now you say time in the market and timing the market, right? Time in the market is very important. Most people they see like invest 1 or 2 years, then they see well return is only like that. Then they kind of like, oh, this is too slow, or they don't really have the patience to wait that long. So I think compounding does work, but then it takes a very long time to really see it. But when you see it, you will keep on coming in and coming in.
Fair. Hey, welcome to the Financial Coconut Podcast Network. I'm your host, Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut. And if you're loving what we're creating here, like, share, subscribe, share with your loved ones, comment in the comment section below. And yeah, we'll see you for great content on Chills with TFC. Okay, so 1 point to you, 1 point to you. Now let's see whether we will get a winner. We'll get a winner in the recreation category,
Wow,
right? So
recreation,
this one
okay.
you better, like give me something, right? Because you did quite some interesting things in the recreation category. So yeah. So you're gonna start already, huh? Okay,
Yeah,
come.
I'm gonna start already. Yeah, correct. Yeah, anyway, it might not be something that is very new because I'm a minimalist. So I tend to think of like spending money and spending time. There must be a right balance lah. So most people will derive joy from spending money. So what I want to advocate for my family is to, you don't have to spend money, but then you can kind of like joy in it also. So we started out like just bringing the kids out to the park. It's very simple. Out to the park, picnic. We cook our own food.
I love
that kind of thing.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I went to Botanic Gardens to listen to musicals things. Then we just kind of like relax there. And then we found a lot of joy in that as compared to, the usual, it will be like, oh yeah, let's go to the cinema, let's go to supermarket or go shopping, the usual stuff, right? I tend to spend more time in nature. So I do a lot of trekking. It first started out from neighborhood parks. Then after that, met Richie. Now the kids are bigger, Bukit Timah. Then now we are trekking overseas. Yeah, so we did trekking in Malaysia, sometimes in that time I think we went to Japan, we also do some trekking, and then Australia we also do some trekking. It kind of is a journey. I need to build out their stamina, then they can start walking more. So in terms of recreation, I always think of, actually you don't have to spend money to have fun. Basically we can have a ride out and then do all the park connectors. We can have lots of fun in it.
Yeah, that's the best budget advice. It's free. How to compete with
it's
free.
How to compete.
How to compete with free is the best. Right. And it's
correct.
a good situation in Singapore. I think you can get a
But-
lot of that for free.
Yeah, but you need to start to enjoy nature.
Yeah. Of course. I think that's a good tip.
Yeah.
So okay, my turn. So I just came back from China. So I was traveling in China for about 2 weeks. So one thing I observed, this very practical one. So, 14 days of traveling in China, essentially I spent quite a bit on hotels, right? So you got to go to different places. I found out this one thing. I found out that a lot of the smaller hotels actually have a very big price differential when you book from the English app and the Chinese app. Yeah. So my hypothesis is there's someone in the middle that is, taking all these supply.
Yeah.
And
The
then like,
translator. The translator is the one. His
yeah,
markup fee
there's
is there.
So there's an intermediary company that is like taking all this supply and then uploading it onto the other platform, and then they make the arbitrage. Right? That's my hypothesis. But that aside, the cost saving is about 30-40%. It's quite crazy. So even if you don't know Mandarin, I mean, 30-40% worth exploring a bit of Google Translate, right? Just to kind of get what's going on. But the major hotels, no such thing. Right, the price is consistent across the board. So we're talking about like the smaller local brands, or like that beach resort somewhere, that villa at the back. So if you go to like trip.com or Agoda or Skyscanner, whatever, you get X price. Then you go to the Chinese apps, right? Like whether it's C-Trip, I think C-Trip is the main thing. You can get 30-40% discount.
I heard this is the same for flights as well. If you change it to their local currency, I haven't tried before, but my friends told me Firefly, the one that flies to KL, right? If you switch it to Malaysian ringgit, you might get a different price or discount.
Really?
So I'm proven, but I heard this, but can try.
Okay, Firefly, you can comment in the comment section. I know the CMO.
No, increase the price.
Okay. So that is my tip now. It's quite interesting. I cannot say for other countries, but there's this weird language arbitrage in China, right? So if you can do Mandarin, you get an advantage.
I think what you're saying kind of like makes sense because my wife can speak Japanese and read Japanese.
So she also got the same thing in Japan?
I think when she goes straight to the website, right, the pricing is very different from booking.com. Yeah. I believe there's this arbitrage going on. Just that for non-Japanese speaker, we don't go there.
We don't know, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Very interesting. I didn't know about these things. But anyway, yes, come. Next.
Mine involves a bit of spending.
Of course, recreation you spend on. Not everybody can do free one.
I really respect the free ones because I love a good meal, right? The most universal meal that everybody likes is a good beef steak. Can we agree? Do you like?
We don't need to agree, okay?
Well, if you're not vegetarian, I might
If you're not
agree.
vegetarian, generally like a beef
But
steak.
I know a celebratory thing.
I probably
yes.
only know one or two people who doesn't like beef, but the rest of the people usually like a good beef ribeye steak. But the problem is you seldom celebrate in a restaurant with a good beef steak restaurant, right? Or a steak house, right? It's because the prices are very, very expensive. Just two people with a bottle of wine and then the markup the wine and stuff easily can set you back. Two people with $400, right? And if you have a party of 10, easily you times 5, right? So there'll be $2,000, right? But for $200 over, 10 times lower the price, I can do equally as good as well. And everybody can do it. So literally a beef steak, right? I can send you 2 YouTube videos. Just 2 YouTube videos,
Do
right?
it yourself.
And then you can literally cook it same as the restaurant or, trust me, even better than the restaurants. Because restaurants, sometimes they specialize in so many dishes, right? They don't focus on one dish, right?
That is not specializing.
Correct. I mean, if they do like many other dishes, but if you just focus on one dish, because I have no culinary skills, but I just focus my attention on one dish, which is a beef steak, the price difference is amazing. Okay, because if you go to like foodie market, Katong, right, you can buy like the best beef down there. Okay, even you buy the mid tier, $6 per 100 grams. So restaurant usually is 200 grams. So that's $12 and you get the cut, right? Which a restaurant, so $12 you buy from the market. But that same $12, you go to a restaurant, they have no choice but to charge you $88. But you don't get $88 of that quality because no choice. You got to pay the rental. In Singapore, we know rental is crazy. Staff is also very expensive. We have to give the business profit as well. We run business, we know we have to mark up for the profit. But ambience is also like a invisible cost as well. Home scenario, you sacrifice of the ambience. But beef steak, right, is a little bit of a performance as well.
Yeah.
Once you cook it, you lay it on the table when it's resting. Then when you slice it, that's where the salt bay comes in, right? They slice and then of course, you don't have to do that, but like it's a performance. Usually your friends enjoy it. They'll take picture, take video. Like it's a very nice moment and at a fraction of the cost, 10 times cheaper. That's why I can do it like once almost every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, if I go to a steakhouse, there's no way I can go like once every month. Yeah.
Fair. Okay, fair. And Andy?
So we're talking about recreation. So you mentioned a lot of points that I also wanted to mention. So it's a little bit unfair to push me to the end.
Everything is covered, yeah.
Everything is covered.
But I think when it comes to recreation, which is a very important part of life, I think money can buy happiness, right? So you just need to know where to buy and what to shop. And it's not the stuff that we always tempted to buy through the market machinery. I think it's all about investing your money into experiences. And they can be very affordable experiences, like what they've shared with going out in nature. But they can be also a little bit more elaborate experiences. But I always say, okay, do those experiences with friends because relationships matter. So often we have very little time to hone our relationships in the daily grind, working like crazy. But when it comes to our free time, why don't you share this with friends and pay for them? Why not? So that's where you spend money on other people that also buys you happiness. Because if you compare it with stuff, you buy the latest iPhone, 1 week later, yeah, you have the iPhone, but does it make a difference? It becomes obsolete or it falls down on the floor, it's broken. But when you look at experiences, those are things that nobody can take away from you. Yeah? You carry it with you in your mind. And I guess your walks and treks with your family in Australia and so on, those are experiences the kids will not forget. So I think investing in those experiences really makes a difference during our recreation time.
Fair. And the thing about buying experiences for others, right? I think that is a good point to bring up because these days everything is AA, right? Especially if you're just doing the corporate grind, you count all your pennies, everything, right?
Correct,
so you'll be like, oh, let's split the bill and all that. But I do think that there is a call to kind of be a little bit more generous on that front, especially when you're doing a little bit better over time. The time spent together is a lot more valuable.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Then the money
Yeah.
saved. And there's a different feeling. And then you can use it as a reason to have another meetup. So I think that's a very, very nice tip. Yeah, but I'm not sure will you win? I'm not sure will you win?
I'm also not sure. Tough competition
Yeah.
here.
Okay. So we're going to the last round, and we're gonna use our finger to vote once again. So okay, in 3, 2, 1, ding. Oh shit!
Oh, no, we have a tie.
We have a tie. Wait,
You're pointing at?
I pointed at you. I think you had a good point. Oh,
Experience. Yeah.
so you also pointed at experiences.
Oh.
2 are for the free walk in the park. You also pointed at me, or?
Oh, yeah, I pointed you. Yeah, correct.
So
Oh my.
we need a
draw.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, we need a
Tiebreaker lah.
tiebreaker.
Yeah.
What's a tiebreaker? Give. Okay, how about give the audience a tip? Any tip that you think it's underappreciated that people should think of? I must have finance involved in it. Personal finance.
Well, one tip for me would be know your risk tolerance. Everyone is different. I think you have to invest a bit of time to really understand what's your risk tolerance. Just go through in your mind if, for example, you have a portfolio of stuff, investments, and can you sleep sound at night if, for example, market drops by 20-30%, which happened before and will happen again? Or do you panic and then you sell everything at the fire sale price? So know your risk tolerance before you go in.
Fair. Yeah, very hard to beat. That one quite. It's
By the book already.
it's the wisdom of the book. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, don't need to beat it.
Okay. No need to beat it. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay, just now on the point on the experiences, right? So I was like thinking more on the point of time bucketing also, right? So I think in terms of creation, there's also a timeline for you to go. Like example, you go to Disneyland, right? I bring them there when they are like 10 years old. It's very different from if I bring them there 10 years later. From that part, right, the time value of money is often looked in a way like, time value of money, you should compound your wealth, end of it, then you enjoy, that kind of thing. But then the time value of money was never looked backwards, that if I bring them there when they are 20, they might not enjoy it as much.
They don't even want to go with you. Right?
Like the first time my wife went to Disneyland, she's like 20. Wow, she felt so much joy, that kind of thing. Yeah. Then now she's like 40, like myself 40. When we went there, the joy wasn't even there anymore. Yeah, very speaking. Yeah.
It's
But
like,
the joy was with the kids. When you see them happy, right? Then you can really feel it.
Okay, fair.
So from that perspective, I think, yeah.
Okay,
But
fair.
one
fair.
experience that I want to share there. So my kids have forgotten everything that happened before the age of 7. So sometimes as parents, when you have young kids, you always think about, what can we do for the kids on the holidays? And I always say, ignore the kids. Yes, you bring them along, but they don't mind where they spend time with you. So make it a destination that you as a parent enjoy, and the kids will tag along.
Yeah,
Because anything that happened before the age of 7, they will not recall later.
I know. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I always find people say things like, I want to bring the kids when they're young to Disneyland. It's like, come on, the truth is you want to take a photo with your kids at the Disneyland. It's about you, it's not about them, right? So, and it's okay. And it's okay to be about you, but you need to be clear so that you don't deceive yourself and then you can structure it in a way that makes sense.
Yes, correct.
Right? So,
Kids just want to spend time with their parents, regardless of location, regardless how much you spend, right?
correct,
They
correct.
don't really mind.
You can
They just
bring them
want
to the forest, they're happy.
yeah, just don't leave them there. Okay. So enough. I think we don't need to vote
Okay.
this round.
The
But
draw.
it's an interesting discussion. So I would say maybe you are the winner of season 2.
Season 2 only?
Yeah. The big prize next round. So we'll wait for the sponsor for next round. But I think it's very, very interesting, right? Whatever we went through. So if let's say our audience would like to get to know you a little bit better, connect with you, where's the best place for them to connect with?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn,
Yeah, everyone's on LinkedIn, huh?
Andy G.Schmidt. You won't find me on Instagram, you won't find me on TikTok.
And you, how?
For myself on Instagram, so Daron Ang, my name, but my Daron is spelled a bit special, Daron.
You gave yourself the name?
My parents. I was supposed to be Ta Long, like big dragon. Thankfully not.
Auntie, thank you. Thank you. It's not
my dad is born in the year of,
Okay.
My dad is born in the year of the dragon.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
born in the
yeah.
year of the snake.
Yeah,
So
okay,
wanted
okay.
me to become a dragon. So
Okay.
like Ta Long. Thankfully,
It's fine. Thank you.
somehow it
Thank
became
you.
Daron.
Wait, your handle again?
Daron Ang, Daron, Ang, Ang.
Yeah, okay.
So that's
Thank
my
you.
Instagram
thank you.
handle.
Any last things you want to say? Where can people connect with you?
So I'm known as Dave in Minimalist in the city. And then at the same time, I'm very active on LinkedIn because I love to write.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been writing for the
I
last
know
8
you've been
years.
writing.
Yeah, correct.
A lot of good
So
stuff.
some of the things I share is a bit philosophical, but then you went through a lot of thoughts.
Of course. I'm not saying it's bad. Not saying it's bad. Huh? Right. It's just practical
correct.
and philosophy.
Practical,
You know, they
yeah,
do
correct,
cross. They
yeah,
do cross. Okay. So with that comes to the end of a second episode of TFC Budget Royale. Put your questions in the comment section, and if you have better tips, you put it in the below. Then maybe we'll invite you on the show. Okay. All right. So with that, thank you. See you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.